Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Scoob here, obviously, and so I thought of this idea where I could go back over my old montages I've made and give some critiques or some ideas of things I would have changed, maybe what I liked about it at the time, and I tweeted out if anybody would want to see it, and it got 6 likes. So that's enough sign to me to make this video, and I think it would be really interesting to sort of see my perspective on something I made back when my skill level probably wasn't where it is now. So we're going to start off with Dreams, obviously. This was my first montage I made after joining Solve, and it was BerT's first solo montage, I believe, since his introducing. And it was kind of crazy to me because it was a dual edit. It was me and Magic, or Lance. And it was kind of weird because Magic was one of those dudes that you look at and he's like such a behemoth because he's so insane. And then I looked at myself and I was like, I have no business being on the same montage as Magic. Obviously, you can have 2 people on any montage and it doesn't really mean anything, but just to me at the time it was kind of weird. So yeah, let's get right into it. And that's my old logo right there. Literally don't use it anymore, but yep. I actually really like this intro. I feel like it's probably one of the better intros I've made. I really like how there was a lot of sort of like pan crop camera movement. Like this felt really fluid. This transition from the fortress cinematic to Dead Cliffs. I thought that was really cool. And so here you can see there's some like light warping. It's kind of tough to tell. But that's because at the time I didn't know what RSMB was. I didn't know that you were supposed to use it. So I was using just the pixel motion blur that came with After Effects. And so that's what led to a lot of the light warping and sort of like light leak warping in my part of this montage. But if you see warping like that, that's why that's there. And it's a little bit more apparent right there. There was a little flash of pink, and that's from the pixel motion blur. It kind of fucks that up sometimes. And I want to talk about this cinematic because I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool shot. It's probably been done before, but I liked how I tracked the text to the gun. And then I also liked this light source up here from the sun kind of shining over the player character. And so we start getting into more problems when we get into the actual clips. And so what's interesting about this first clip that I edited was that my pan crops were so bad. They're just a little bit too aggressive here. But this was before I refined them. But I'm telling you, the first version of me editing this clip looked awful because I was still using my old pan crop method. Apart from that, I kind of liked this. I sort of had a little thing where I did the shotgun shot and then the reload sound. And also all this crap right here, that's all from pixel motion blur. Literally kind of ruined the montage, honestly, with all and my bad warping at the time. I liked the cinematic. I thought it wasn't that bad. I kind of liked the perspective shift from like small hunter and then like big sort of landscape. This clip, alright, these particles were like, I thought they were really cool. Looking back, they're kind of cringy, but at the time I thought it was a really cool like effect to do for a shot. And my flow in this clip is kind of aggressive. Like I wasn't really good at sort of developing a good like low speed to high speed gradient, so like you can tell it's a little bit too fast. You can still tell what's going on, but I probably could have slowed it down a little bit more. This cinematic was such a pain in the ass. As you can see, I sort of roto-brushed him out, the character here, but it didn't really work and I wasn't really good at it at the time, so there's a lot of errors like right here next to the gun and the fusion rifle. And I used wide time on the like layer behind it to sort of give like this blurry effect, and it just didn't really work out at all. For some reason, I couldn't get this cinematic to look good. Alright, this is super embarrassing, but right here you can see there's the 4 colors in the corner. That's because I literally took the effect from After Effects, which is the 4 color like gradient type thing, and just slapped it right on there and turned the opacity down. There's a million better ways to incorporate color into a clip, and that was just really stupid. Next clip here. This was a really weird flow clip. It was my first time editing a linear fusion clip, and I was kind of stuck between trying to edit it like a sniper clip and edit it like a fusion clip, which is, you can tell. Like if I go back to the beginning of it, it was tough to prioritize whether I should focus on the charge or the scope in and when to put the shot. But in Horizon, I did, and I really liked how I edited that same clip in Horizon, which I'll go over at some point. I like my flow on this clip, honestly. I feel like it was pretty good. I sort of liked how I would go shot, then quickly to the Warlock melee, instead of trying to keep it on the shot, because then the Warlock melee hand would just warp super bad. This is also a super clean clip from BerT. Like, watching the raw clip, I was like, oh my god, this is like fucking really clean. I like this cinematic. I thought the reload was cool. Yeah, it's a little bit too linear though. I would have liked some shake or pan or shake or rotation, something to make it feel less linear. Maybe like a directional blur this way. That's something I was really bad at when I first started out, like seriously montage editing. Like you can notice here, there's nothing to assist transition from cinematic to clip. It's just straight up a cut. It really stands out if you start to notice it. This clip, Huckleberry Slayer, fucking insane. I thought this was a ridiculous clip, but I think I did get it pretty good. The only thing I would add is some sound effects right there. Just a nice big swoosh. Maybe cut out the audio a little bit to emphasize the swoosh. That would have been perfect. So yeah, this whole sort of like warp shot clip feels kind of hollow because I have no sound effects. This cinematic I didn't think was bad. This transition, awful. You just can't go from a cinematic then a scale in to a scope. It just didn't look good at all. I like this cinematic. I felt like it was cool. I had the scope come over the player. Would have been better if I had the scope and like a black solid sort of come around to really sell the like we're going back into the scope. And there you see there's no transition between that clip and this clip. It's just a cut and we're going. Alright, let's just talk about something really quick. The CC or whatever the hell is going on in this clip was atrocious. The saturation was way too high, too much glow, didn't even match the clips before it. It was just, I had no idea what I was trying to do here. But I kind of like the flow. I don't think the flow is that bad. But again, this song was like pretty easy to flow to, so that was nice. This scope effect, I actually don't mind. I thought it was cool. But sort of like the Huckleberry clip, if I had a sound effect or something, it just would have been a lot better. Because you can tell it feels kind of flat without it. Yeah, I don't mind the flow there. This sort of like where I zoom in and then quickly zoom out with the shake sort of going up and down, I abuse way too much in like my early montages like this. It works and it looks good if you do it once, but if you do it too many times, then it starts getting super repetitive. The warp on this clip is just awful. That is the biggest thing that stood out to me about this. I didn't really know at the time how to fix warp. I sort of just kind of let it be and hoped that nobody would notice, although I'm sure everybody noticed. But yeah, it's bad. Especially the metals get really badly warped. I don't know why I kept this killing. Wasn't part of the clip. This one on Fortress isn't bad either, but there's just no movement. Like, it's just a really simple pan. Okay, the warp on this clip, again, horrible. The pixel motion blur makes it sort of indistinguishable. Like, you sometimes can't even tell what's going on because in the clip, BerT turns so much that, like, the pixel motion blur just condenses frames and it makes it look really bad. This cinematic is just really bad. There's, like, the movement is super slow. The flicker is not even matched up with the song. Like, it was just a really weird, I don't even know. My motion track there was pretty bad as well. That's probably one of the worst things I've motion tracked. It just, like, looks bad. It's not matched up with the words. So initially, I tried to edit and sync this to the song, and I sent it to BerT, and he was like, no. Instead, he decided that we should just let it play. Sort of like the last clip in Odyssey 2 from Poffins. When I was editing, I just felt like I had to sync this one shot because it would have, I don't know. And again, the sound effect would have made that a lot better. It would have hit a lot harder, but I don't know. It doesn't look that bad as is. I really liked how I just synced that one shot and everything else is kind of just like, you know, let it go. So you can focus on the clip because it is absolutely insane. All right, so that's the whole montage. Overall, I feel like it wasn't bad. Definitely could have fixed a lot of things. You can probably count like 4 different CCs, which you just don't want to do. It doesn't ruin the final product, but it's definitely something you notice when you're watching. It was a good first project and a huge learning experience for me, so I definitely am thankful that I was given the opportunity to edit BerT's clips. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this style of video in the comments if you want to see more. I can obviously keep going and do like loops montage. I can do Horizon, and then if I can even go back and do my old mini edits that were pretty atrocious, but I can just go over them anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I'll see you in the next one, I guess.